Welcome to episode 3 of Life in 2046, Local Transportation. The biggest change coming in ground transportation is that all vehicles will be required to be self-driving if they're going to drive within major cities and on the interstate highways. It's very reasonable to ask the question, why? Why would we suddenly go from people driving cars around to the cars driving themselves? The answer to that is quite simple. This is a representation of how people actually drive. In the year 2023, there were 40,901 deaths due to auto accidents in the United States. The actual results show that autonomously driven cars are 99% less likely than driver-driven cars to have a fatality. In other words, if only autonomously driven cars were allowed in the United States, there would have only been 40 traffic deaths. Looking at injuries caused by traffic accidents, there were approximately 2,400,000 people in the United States injured by traffic accidents. When you look at the numbers for autonomously driven cars, this number would lower by 90%. Having discussed the human cost of traffic accidents, let's now look at the actual economic cost. The direct economic costs, in other words, money that people specifically pay out to fix things and people, of traffic accidents in the United States for a year is $513 billion. If we looked at total cost to society, the harm is approximately $1.8 trillion. That includes such things as higher insurance premiums, funding for emergency response, police, and road repairs, increased prices due to costs that companies incur from their accident and delivery delays. Any way you want to look at it, this poopy driving is disastrous for our people and our economy. Now let's look at the causes of these accidents. What are these drivers doing that cost us so many lives and pain and so much money? As you probably heard, the number one cause of traffic accidents is distracted driving. What that means is taking your eyes off the road. This can be looking at or interacting with others, people, or animals in the car, using your GPS or your phone, or just looking at things around you. Second, taking your hands off the steering wheel for eating or making other adjustment of infotainment systems, etc. And third, just not having your mind on the driving that you're doing. The second cause is speeding and aggressive driving. Speeding accounts for about 29% of all traffic fatalities. But it's not just speeding, it's aggressive behaviors like tailgating, weaving through traffic, and road rage incidents. The third cause is impaired driving. Alcohol-related deaths at traffic occur at a rate of one person about every 42 minutes, and we have an increasing amount of accidents involving prescription medications and other drugs. The fourth reason is failure to obey traffic laws. Key among these are running red lights and stop signs. There's also improper turns, failure to yield right of way, turning from the wrong lane. This is a very broad category, but it includes a very large number of accidents. The final cause is weather related. Approximately 22% of all crashes are weather related. What this means is an awful lot of people don't know how to drive in bad weather conditions. And oftentimes people panic and turn a bad situation into one that is much worse. So it's easy to see that the primary reason why we are likely to be limited to autonomously driven vehicles is that it will save lives and save money. There are a couple of other reasons as well. First, the amount of resource necessary to deal with the policing and emergency response for traffic accidents. When considering the police response necessary to deal with driver-driven vehicles, approximately 48% of local police time is spent on traffic duty. When you start talking about state police, it's as much as 85%. Imagine a world in which those resources were freed up to work on crime prevention and solving crimes. This could make a huge difference in the safety of citizens. And if they don't have to deal with traffic accidents, the fire department and emergency services would be much better equipped to deal with other emergencies and to deal with them in a much more timely fashion. In conclusion, the implementation of only autonomous vehicles on our roads will save lives, save money, and free up our emergency resources. Finally, these vehicles can all be connected to a central dispatch system that will oversee the traffic and send directions for the traffic to flow in a way that is most conducive to overall traffic success and speed for the occupants. This allows for the most flexibility and ability to deal with changing requirements. For example, if the football game is over and 100,000 people are suddenly leaving one particular spot, it allows the improved flow of traffic to get those people out and the rest of the traffic processed as well. This is an area where real-time central planning can massively improve the daily quality of life. We mentioned before that interstate highways as well as cities would require self-driving vehicles. This is a picture of a Tesla self-driving truck. These trucks are operating throughout the United States now and have shown a remarkable degree of efficiency, effectiveness, and safety throughout their utilization. The companies that have purchased these trucks have reported that they are making their operation substantially more cost effective than was anticipated before they were purchased. With all of the safety factors discussed before and the cost effectiveness that they're now seeing, it is pretty much certain that you will see self-driving trucks take over the roads. Efficiency and effectiveness comes at a price, though. We anticipate that over 4 million jobs will be lost due to the implementation of self-driving trucks and buses on the open roads. The changes we see coming between now and 2046 are not simply about transportation, but will affect many different areas of life. In episode 4, we'll be taking a look at changes that we foresee in retail and in food service. Be sure to like us and to subscribe for our channel, Life in 2046.